At my college graduation party, my old guidance counselor pulled me aside. "Lily, I've been wondering something for 4 years." Mrs. Patterson smiled warmly, holding a glass of punch. "Why did you turn down Harvard?" I stared at her. The noise of the party, family laughing, music playing, people congratulating me, suddenly felt distant. "What? Harvard? You were accepted. Full scholarship." I remember being so proud when the letter came. "But then you enrolled here at community college instead. I always wondered why you changed your mind." My mouth went dry. "Mrs. Patterson, I wasn't accepted to Harvard. I was rejected. I never got in." Her smile faltered. "No, honey. You were definitely accepted. I have the letter in my files at school. I kept copies of all my students' college acceptances. You were one of my success stories." The world tilted slightly. "That's not possible. My father told me I was rejected. He showed me the rejection letter." Mrs. Patterson's face changed. Understanding, then concern, then something that looked like anger crossed her features. "Lily, I think you need to check something. Harvard has an online portal for accepted students. If you were accepted, you should still have access. Even 4 years later." I excused myself, walked to my parents' house, to my childhood bedroom where my laptop sat on my old desk, logged into the email account I'd used for college applications 4 years ago, found the Harvard admissions portal link buried in old emails, entered my information with shaking hands. The portal opened. "Welcome back, Lily Chin. Class of 2021. I scrolled down, saw the acceptance letter, dated 4 years ago, the full scholarship offer, the housing information, the orientation details, and at the bottom, stamped in red, "Enrollment declined May 15th, 2019. Someone had logged into my account. Someone had clicked decline. I scrolled further, found the activity log. May 15th, 2019. 11:47 p.m. Enrollment declined from IP address 192.168.1.1. Our home IP address. Someone in this house, on the day before the acceptance deadline, had logged into my account and declined my admission to Harvard. I sat there staring at the screen. For years of my life suddenly rearranging themselves into a different shape. A darker shape. My name is Lily Chin. I'm 22 years old. I have long black hair that I usually wear pulled back, dark eyes that people say make me look serious, and what friends call a studious look. Glasses, careful posture, always carrying books. I just graduated from community college with a degree in biology. Good grades, solid education, decent opportunities ahead of me. But I should have graduated from Harvard, with a degree from one of the best universities in the world. With connections, opportunities, a future that looked completely different. Someone stole that from me, and I was about to find out who. I grew up in a traditional Chinese-American family in Sacramento. My parents immigrated from China before I was born. My father, Wei Chun, worked as an engineer. My mother, Lin, worked part-time as a translator while raising me and my younger brother, David. Family was everything in our house. Not in the warm, supportive way. In the obligatory way. In the you owe us way. In the your life belongs to the family way. My father had strong opinions about everything. Where we should live. What we should study. Who we should marry. How close we should stay to family. Family takes care of family, he'd say constantly. In America, people abandon their parents. We don't do that. We stay close. We stay loyal. I was a good daughter. Quiet, obedient, high-achieving. I got straight A's. I didn't party. I studied while other kids went to football games. I took AP classes, joined academic clubs, built a resume that would get me into top universities. Because I wanted more than Sacramento. I wanted to see the world, experience different places, meet different people. I wanted to go to college far away, somewhere that would challenge me and expand my horizons. Harvard was my dream school. Had been since I was 14 and saw a documentary about it. The history, the prestige, the incredible students and professors. I wanted that. Desperately. My father knew this. And he hated it. "Why do you need to go so far away?" he'd ask whenever I mentioned Harvard. "UC Davis is right here. Good school. You can live at home. Save money. But Harvard is Harvard, Dad. It's one of the best schools in the world. And you think you're too good for California schools? You think you're better than your family? That's not what I'm saying. You go to Harvard, you become too American. Forget your family. Forget your culture. Become one of those kids who puts their parents in nursing homes and never visits. I wouldn't do that. Everyone says that. Then they go away and forget where they came from. But I applied anyway. Secretly. I knew if I asked permission, he'd say no. So I applied to 15 schools, Harvard, Yale, Stanford, all the prestigious ones. And I applied to UC Davis and Sacramento State as backups, schools my father would approve of. My senior year was a blur of applications and essays and waiting. I checked my email obsessively. Dreamed about acceptance letters. They started coming in March. Acceptances from UC Davis, from several other UCs, from some private schools I'd applied to as safeties. But no word from Harvard. No word from Yale or Stanford either. I waited. Watched my classmates celebrate their acceptances. Tried to stay hopeful. Then one night in early April, my father called me into his office. "Lily, sit down. We need to talk." I sat, my stomach tight with anxiety. He pulled out a letter. The Harvard letterhead was visible at the top. "This came today." My heart stopped. "What does it say?" He handed it to me. I read it with trembling hands. "Dear Ms. Chun, we regret to inform you that we are unable to offer you admission to Harvard University for the class of 2023. The words blurred. I read it again, not believing it. "I'm sorry, Lily," my father said. His voice was sympathetic, but there was something else underneath. Something that sounded like relief. "You tried your best. But Harvard is very competitive. Most people don't get in. But my scores, my GPA. I thought I had a chance. You're a good student. But there are many good students. You can't take it personally." I couldn't speak. Just stared at the rejection letter. "At the death of my dream. The good news is you got into UC Davis," he continued. "Great school. Close to home. You can live here, save money. It's the practical choice. I wanted to live on campus. Experience college life. Why spend money on housing when you have a perfectly good room here? It's wasteful. And this way, you can help your mother. She needs you, Lily. Her health isn't great. David is still in high school. We need you here." I felt the walls closing in. "What about the other schools?" "Stanford, Yale. Also rejected." "I'm sorry, but you should focus on what you have. UC Davis is a good opportunity. Don't be ungrateful." So I enrolled at UC Davis. Chose biology as my major because my father said it was practical, would lead to medical school or research jobs. Gave up on my dream of Harvard, of the East Coast, of a different life. But I didn't live on campus like I'd planned. My father insisted I live at home. Why waste money on a dorm when you can commute? It's only 30 minutes. So I commuted. Every day. While my classmates formed friendships in dorms, went to late-night study sessions, experienced college life, I drove home every evening to my childhood bedroom. I helped my mother with household chores. I helped David with his homework. I lived like I was still in high school, just with college classes during the day. "This is what family does," my father would say. "We take care of each other. We don't abandon each other for selfish reasons." I felt trapped. But I told myself it was fine. UC Davis was a good school. I was getting a good education. This was enough. Except it wasn't. Not really. I watched my classmates talk about internships at prestigious companies, research opportunities with famous professors, networking events with industry leaders. Opportunities that came from going to top-tier schools, from being part of elite academic circles. I applied for those opportunities too. Got rejected over and over. "We're looking for candidates from more competitive programs," they'd say politely. My resume was good, but it wasn't Harvard good. It wasn't Ivy League good. And I felt the weight of that every single day. By my junior year, I'd given up on my big dreams. Accepted that my life would be smaller than I'd hoped. Local job, local life, living near family forever. Then my senior year, something shifted. My father's control intensified. He started asking about my plans after graduation. "You'll live at home while you work, right? Save money." I was thinking about getting my own apartment. "Why? That's wasteful. You can save money here." "Dad, I'm 22. I want some independence." "Independence? You sound like a selfish American. In our culture, children don't abandon their parents. You stay close. You help family." We had this argument weekly, always ending the same way, with me giving in, agreeing to stay, feeling smaller every time. My mother was sympathetic but useless. "Your father just wants what's best for you," she'd say. What's best for me, or what's best for him? She couldn't answer that. I started applying for jobs out of state. Secretly. Positions in Seattle, Portland, San Francisco. Places far enough that I'd have to move, have to escape. I didn't tell my parents. I knew they'd sabotage me. I didn't know they already had. My graduation was in May. Small ceremony at UC Davis. My parents came, took photos, smiled proudly. We had a party at our house that evening. Family friends, some of my classmates. Everyone congratulated me. Told me how proud they must be. Asked about my plans. "She's staying local," my father would say, his hand on my shoulder. "Going to work here, stay close to family. That's how we do things." I smiled. Didn't correct him. Didn't mention the interviews I had lined up in other states. Mrs. Patterson arrived near the end of the party. My high school guidance counselor, who'd helped me with college applications. I hadn't seen her since graduation 4 years ago. "Lily, congratulations." She hugged me. "I'm so proud of you." "Thank you, Mrs. Patterson. Thanks for coming." "Of course. You were one of my favorite students." She glanced around, making sure we were somewhat alone. Can I ask you something I've been wondering about for years? Sure. Why did you turn down Harvard? And that's when everything broke open. After Mrs. Patterson told me about the acceptance letter, after I found the portal showing my declined enrollment, I sat in my bedroom trying to process what I'd discovered. Someone in my family had logged into my account and declined my Harvard admission. The IP address proved it came from our house. The date, May 15th, 2019, the day before the deadline, proved it was deliberate. Someone had waited until the last possible moment to make sure I couldn't change it. Who? The obvious answer was my father. He'd always wanted me to stay local. He'd been the one to show me the rejection letter. But I needed to be sure. Needed proof beyond the IP address. I went back to my email. Searched for anything from Harvard from that time period. Found the original acceptance email. March 28th, 2019. Congratulations, Lily Chen. We are pleased to offer you admission. I'd never seen this email before. It should have been at the top of my inbox, impossible to miss. But someone had marked it as read and archived it. The same day it arrived. I checked my email activity log. March 28th, 2019. 6:47 p.m. Email read and archived from IP 192.168.1.1. Our home IP address again. Someone had intercepted my acceptance email the day it arrived. Had hidden it so I'd never see it. Then they'd forged a rejection letter and given it to me instead. I felt sick. This wasn't a spontaneous decision. This was planned. Calculated. Someone had systematically stolen my future. I searched my room. Looked through old papers, old files. Found the rejection letter my father had shown me that night in April. Examined it closely. The Harvard letterhead looked right. The signature looked official. But something was off. The paper quality was wrong. Regular printer paper. Not the heavy stock Harvard used for official letters. The alignment was slightly off. The signature was a scan, not an original. This was a fake. Someone had created a fake rejection letter on their home printer. I went downstairs. My father was in his office, reading something on his computer. My mother was cleaning up from the party. David was in his room. I walked into my father's office. Closed the door behind me. Dad, I need to ask you something. He looked up. What is it? Did you know I was accepted to Harvard? His face didn't change. What are you talking about? You were rejected. No, I wasn't. I checked the portal. I was accepted. Full scholarship. Someone declined my enrollment on May 15th, 2019, from an IP address traced to this house. A pause. Just a fraction of a second. Then, that's impossible. The letter said you were rejected. The letter was fake. You made it. You intercepted my acceptance email, hid it, created a fake rejection letter, and declined my enrollment without telling me. Lily, you're not making sense. Don't lie to me. My voice was shaking. I have the email logs. I have the portal access. I have proof. He stared at me. His expression shifted from denial to something else. Something cold. So what if I did? The casual admission hit like a physical blow. You stole my future. You stole Harvard from me. I saved you from making a terrible mistake. His voice was calm, rational, like he was explaining something obvious to a child. Harvard would have taken you away from your family. Turned you into someone who doesn't value where she came from. That wasn't your decision to make. You were 18. A child. You didn't know what was best for you. I made the decision that would protect our family. Protect our family? Or control me? This is what good parents do, Lily. They guide their children away from bad choices. Going to Harvard is not a bad choice. It's Harvard. It's one of the best schools in the world. And you got a good education at UC Davis. You graduated. You have a degree. What's the difference? The difference is I had a choice and you took it away. He stood up. You think you would have been happy there? Far from family, trying to fit in with rich American kids who don't understand your culture? You would have been miserable. And worse, you would have become one of those children who forgets their parents, who abandons them the moment it's convenient. So you decided to trap me instead? Keep me here forever? I decided to keep our family together. And if you were thinking clearly, you'd thank me. I couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe. The casual certainty in his voice, the complete lack of remorse, was more devastating than the theft itself. Did Mom know? He hesitated. Your mother did what she was told. That's a yes. She understood it was for the best. Did David know? David was in high school. He knew nothing. At least David was innocent. That was something. I turned to leave. Where are you going? Away from you. Lily, don't be dramatic. You're upset now, but you'll understand eventually. I'm 22 years old. I just found out my father stole 4 years of my life from me. I think dramatic is appropriate. 4 years you spent here, with family, getting a good education. 4 years I could have spent at Harvard, meeting different people, studying with the best professors in the world, building a completely different future. A future that would have taken you away from us. Maybe that would have been better. His face hardened. You're being ungrateful. Do you know how much I sacrificed for this family? How hard I worked to give you opportunities. Opportunities you then took away the moment. They didn't fit your plan. I am your father. I know what's best. No. You know what's convenient for you. What keeps me trapped here, taking care of mom, being the good Chinese daughter who never leaves. There's nothing wrong with being a good daughter. There is when it costs me everything. I left his office. Heard him calling after me. Ignored him. Found my mother in the kitchen. Did you know? She looked up, face guilty. Know what? About Harvard. About Dad hiding my acceptance and forging a rejection letter. She couldn't meet my eyes. Your father thought it was best. Did you? No. A long pause. Then quietly. Yes. The betrayal doubled. And you said nothing? He's your father. He was trying to protect you. From what? From success? From opportunities? From having my own life? From becoming someone who forgets their family? Lily, in our culture, family comes first. Always. Your father was worried you'd go to Harvard and never come back. So the solution was to steal my future? It wasn't stealing. It was guidance. It was theft. And you helped him. She was crying now. We just wanted you close. We just wanted our family together. You wanted me trapped. That's not fair. You want to know what's not fair? I spent 4 years thinking I wasn't good enough for Harvard. For years believing I'd been rejected, that I'd failed. For years building a smaller life because I thought that was all I deserved. And the whole time, you knew I'd actually been accepted. You knew and said nothing. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't give me back those 4 years. I went back to my room. Started packing. Clothes, books, laptop. Everything important. My father appeared in the doorway. What are you doing? Leaving. Don't be ridiculous. You're upset, but this is still your home. This stopped being my home the moment you decided to steal my future. I didn't steal anything. I made a decision as your parent. A decision that wasn't yours to make. I was accepted to Harvard. I earned that. And you took it away because you're a controlling, manipulative. I stopped myself. I'm done. I'm leaving. And go where? You don't have a job lined up. You don't have money saved. I have interviews in Seattle next week. I'll figure it out. His face went red. You applied for out-of-state jobs? After everything we discussed. After everything you dictated, you mean? Yeah, I applied. Because unlike you, I actually want a future. You have a future here. With your family. I have a prison here. And I'm breaking out. I finished packing. Threw everything in my car. David came out as I was loading the last box. Lily, what's happening? Ask Dad. I hugged him. I'm sorry, David. I love you. But I can't stay here. Did you really get into Harvard? Yes. And Dad hid it? Yes. He looked devastated. That's so messed up. Yeah, it is. Where will you go? Seattle. Maybe. I'll figure it out. Can I visit? Of course. Anytime. He hugged me tight. I'm sorry they did that to you. Not your fault. I got in my car. My father stood on the porch, arms crossed. My mother cried beside him. I didn't look back. Just drove. I stayed with my friend Sarah in San Francisco for a week. Processed everything. Cried. Raged. Slowly started to rebuild. The Seattle interviews went well. I got an offer from a biotech company. Good position, good salary. They were impressed with my UC Davis research experience. But during one interview, the hiring manager looked at my resume and said, "Your qualifications are great. But I have to ask, why UC Davis? With your scores and achievements, you could have gone anywhere." For the first time, I told someone the truth. I was accepted to Harvard. Full scholarship. My father hid the acceptance, forged a rejection letter, and declined my enrollment without telling me. I found out 4 years later. The manager stared at me. I'm so sorry. I'm dealing with it. That's terrible. Have you thought about reapplying? Explaining the situation. I had thought about it. Obsessively. Could I reapply? Would Harvard care that I'd been accepted once and someone had declined without my knowledge? I contacted Harvard admissions. Explained the situation in a long, detailed email. Provided proof. The original acceptance, the portal logs showing the decline from my home IP, the fake rejection letter. They responded 2 weeks later. Dear Ms. Chun, we're deeply disturbed by what you've described. Unfortunately, while we sympathize with your situation, we cannot offer you admission retroactively. However, you're welcome to reapply through our standard admissions process. Given the unusual circumstances, we'll make a note in your file. Reapply. Start over. At 22, for years behind where I should have been. I didn't know if I could do it. Didn't know if I had the energy to go back to school, to start a bachelor's degree over at a different institution. But I thought about it. Every day. Thought about what had been stolen from me. What could still be possible? I moved to Seattle. Started the biotech job. Got my own apartment. Small, expensive, but mine. No family controlling me. No father dictating my choices. My mother called weekly. I didn't answer. She left voicemails apologizing, asking me to come home, saying my father was sorry even though I knew he wasn't. David called too. Those calls I answered. He told me about school, his college applications, his plans to get as far from home as possible. Don't let Dad control your applications, I warned him. Check your email constantly. Make sure you see every acceptance letter yourself. I will. I promise. And David, apply to Harvard if you want. Don't let him steal your dreams too. 6 months after moving to Seattle, I got a call from my old UC Davis advisor. Lily, I heard what happened. With Harvard. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Dr. Morrison. I wanted you to know there might be options. Legal options. What your father did, declining your enrollment without your knowledge, forging documents, that's fraud. Identity theft. You could press charges. I'd thought about that too. Late at night. Imagining my father arrested, facing consequences for what he'd done. But pressing charges meant reliving everything. Meant a legal battle with my own family. Meant cutting ties completely, permanently, in the most public way possible. I don't think I can do that. I understand. But Lily, you should also know, you could sue Harvard for negligence. They accepted a decline from an IP address that wasn't yours, without verification, without checking. That's a security failure on their part. Sue Harvard. I know a lawyer who specializes in education law. She thinks you'd have a case. Not for admission. You can't sue your way into Harvard. But for damages. For the opportunities you lost, the scholarship money you missed out on, the career prospects that were stolen. It sounded exhausting. And vindictive. And exactly what part of me wanted. Let me think about it. I thought about it for weeks. The idea of making Harvard pay for their role in this. Their failure to verify. Their lack of security that allowed my father to destroy my future with a few clicks. But ultimately, I didn't sue. I was tired of looking backward. Tired of fighting. I wanted to move forward. Instead, I focused on my new life. My job, my apartment, my slowly expanding circle of friends who knew nothing about Harvard or family betrayal. I focused on building something new. A year after leaving home, I got a message on LinkedIn. From a Harvard professor I'd once emailed about research opportunities. Lily, I heard about what happened to you. I'm so sorry. I wanted you to know, we have a master's program that might interest you. It's competitive, but given your circumstances, I think you'd be a strong candidate. Let me know if you'd like more information. A master's program. Not the undergraduate experience I'd missed, but a second chance at Harvard. A different path to the same destination. I cried when I read the message. Not from sadness. From relief. From possibility. I applied. Wrote an essay about my experience, about what had been stolen and what I'd built anyway. About resilience and second chances. I got in. Full scholarship. Master's in biology. I'd be starting at Harvard at 24. 6 years after I should have started my freshman year. But starting anyway. The acceptance letter came via email. I read it immediately. Screenshotted it. Backed it up. Made sure no one could take it from me this time. I didn't tell my parents. Didn't call to share the news or invite them to celebrate. They'd lost that privilege. I told David. He was thrilled. You're going to Harvard. Lily, that's amazing. I'm going to Harvard, I repeated, testing the words. Making them real. Are you going to tell Dad? Eventually. But not as an invitation. As a statement. What will you say? That I'm going to Harvard. That he tried to steal my future and failed. That I built something anyway despite him. That he doesn't get to control me anymore. He's going to be angry. I don't care. And I didn't. For the first time in my life, my father's anger didn't scare me. Didn't control me. Didn't matter. I was going to Harvard. Finally. On my own terms. With my own choices. Building my own future. The future he'd tried to steal. The future I'd taken back. 2 weeks before I was supposed to leave for Cambridge, my family had a gathering. My grandmother's birthday. I hadn't planned to go. Hadn't been home in over a year. But David begged me. Please come. Just for Grandma. She misses you. So I went. Drove down to Sacramento. Walked into my parents' house for the first time since graduation. My father was in the living room. He saw me and stood up. Lily. Dad. Awkward silence. Then my mother appeared, trying to hug me. I let her stiffly. We've missed you, she said. I've been busy. Too busy to call your parents? Yes. More silence. Family members arrived. Aunts, uncles, cousins. Everyone acting like nothing was wrong. Like I hadn't disappeared for a year. Like this was a normal family gathering. We sang to my grandmother. Cut the cake. Made small talk. Then my aunt asked the question everyone was probably wondering. Lily, what are you doing now? Still in Seattle. For another 2 weeks. Then I'm moving. Moving where? This was it. The moment. I looked at my father. Saw him tense, waiting. Cambridge, Massachusetts. I got into Harvard. Master's program in biology. Full scholarship. The room went silent. My aunt's mouth opened. My uncle blinked. My grandmother looked confused. My father's face went red. What? I applied to Harvard's graduate program. I got in. I'm starting in September. You can't. Can't what? Can't go to Harvard? You tried that already. Didn't work. Lily, this is ridiculous. You have a good job here, a good life. A good life that you tried to control and steal. No thanks. My mother touched my arm. Lily, please. Let's talk about this privately. No. I'm done with private conversations where you two manipulate me. I'm going to Harvard. You stole my undergraduate experience from me. You don't get to steal this too. My father stood up. I am your father. You don't speak to me like this. You stopped being my father the moment you forged that rejection letter. You're just the man who tried to destroy my future. I was protecting you. You were controlling me. There's a difference. My aunt cleared her throat. What rejection letter? What's happening? I turned to face the whole family. 4 years ago, I was accepted to Harvard. Full scholarship. Undergraduate program. My father intercepted the acceptance email, hid it from me, created a fake rejection letter, and declined my enrollment without telling me. I found out a year ago when my old guidance counselor mentioned my acceptance. I spent 4 years thinking I'd been rejected when I'd actually been accepted. Silence. Shocked faces. My grandmother looked horrified. Wei, is this true? My uncle asked. My father's jaw clenched. I made a decision that I thought was best for my family. You stole her college acceptance? My aunt's voice was sharp. How could you do that? She was 18. She didn't understand what she was giving up. Her choice, my grandmother interrupted, her English rough but clear. Her life, her choice. Mama, you don't understand American culture. I understand stealing. Grandma stood up, surprisingly fierce for someone in her 80s. You steal from your own daughter. You lie. This is wrong. This is shame on our family. My father tried to defend himself. I was trying to keep our family together. By destroying your daughter's trust? My uncle said. By lying to her for 4 years? Wei, what you did is unforgivable. You don't understand. If she'd gone to Harvard, she would have left us. She would have become one of those American children who abandons their parents. So you made sure she could never leave? My aunt said. You trapped her. I guided her. You stole from her. Grandma repeated. Wrong. Very wrong. My father looked around the room. Saw the judgment on every face. The disappointment. The anger. You're all overreacting. She got a good education at UC Davis. That wasn't the point, I said quietly. The point is you took away my choice. You decided my entire future without asking me. You stole something I earned. I'm your father. I have the right. You have no rights over me anymore. I'm 24 years old. I'm going to Harvard. And you're never controlling my life again. I picked up my bag. Hugged my grandmother. Hugged David. Nodded to my aunt and uncle. Then I walked out. Heard my father yelling behind me. Heard my mother crying. Heard my grandmother's voice, sharp and angry in Chinese, berating my father. I got in my car and drove away. And this time I knew I was never coming back. 2 weeks later, I flew to Boston. Started my master's program at Harvard. Finally. 6 years late, but finally. The campus was beautiful. Historic. Everything I'd dreamed about when I was 18. I walked through Harvard Yard. Sat in classes with brilliant professors. Made friends with students from around the world. Experienced everything my father had tried to keep me from. And I thrived. Published research. Won awards. Built a network. Created opportunities. Did I wish I'd had the undergraduate experience? The 4 years I lost. Yes. Every day. But I also learned something important. You can't get back stolen time. You can only build with what you have left. My father stole for years from me. Stole opportunities, experiences, friendships, growth. But he didn't steal my ability to move forward. To build something new. To take back my future. Even if it looked different than I'd planned. I graduated with my master's degree 2 years later. Got a PhD position at MIT. Stayed in Boston. Built a life 3,000 miles from Sacramento. From control. From lies. My father never apologized. Not really. He called once, said he'd made some mistakes, but still believed he'd been looking out for me. I hung up. Blocked his number. Cut ties completely. My mother tried to maintain contact. I let her barely. Birthday texts. Holiday cards. Surface-level communication that acknowledged our biological connection without pretending we had a relationship. David visited often. He'd gotten into Berkeley. Far enough from home to feel free. Close enough to keep some family ties. We talked about our father sometimes. About the control, the manipulation, the cultural weight of filial piety weaponized against us. Do you ever forgive him? David asked once. No. Do you think you ever will? I don't know. Right now, I don't want to. Forgiveness feels like letting him off the hook. Like saying what he did was understandable. Was it though? I mean, from his perspective, wasn't he just trying to keep the family together? By destroying my trust? By stealing my choices? David, you don't keep family together by trapping them. You keep them together by loving them enough to let them leave. He nodded. I just don't want to become like him. Controlling. Manipulative. Unable to see when I'm hurting people. Then don't. Be conscious of it. Question your motives. And most importantly, trust the people you love to make their own choices. Even if those choices take them far from you. Is that what you're doing? Choosing to be far from us. I'm choosing to be far from him. I want close. Just geographically optional. He smiled. Geographically optional family. I like that. 3 years after starting at Harvard, I gave a talk at a conference. Research presentation about my work in molecular biology. The room was full of prominent researchers, professors, industry professionals. After my talk, someone approached me. An older woman with gray hair and kind eyes. Ms. Chun, I'm Dr. Patricia Walsh. I was on the Harvard admissions committee 6 years ago when your application came through. My stomach dropped. Oh, I remember your file. Exceptional student. We were thrilled to accept you. And then devastated when you declined enrollment. I didn't decline. My father did. Without my knowledge. I heard. I wanted to say I'm sorry. We should have had better verification systems. We've since changed our policies. Now we require multiple confirmations before processing enrollment decisions. But that doesn't help you. No, it doesn't. For what it's worth, I'm glad you're here now. Your research is impressive. You're exactly the kind of student we hoped you'd become. Thank you. And Ms. Chin, your father was wrong. About everything. But especially about thinking Harvard would take you away from your culture. You didn't lose yourself by coming here. You found yourself. Those words stayed with me. Because she was right. I hadn't lost my Chinese identity by going to Harvard. I'd expanded it. I'd learned to be Chinese American in a way that honored both parts of myself. I'd found community with other Asian students who understood cultural pressure. I'd learned to navigate both worlds without letting either one control me completely. My father's fear had been that I'd become too American, that I'd forget where I came from. But the opposite happened. By leaving, by choosing my own path, I'd learned to appreciate my heritage without being imprisoned by it. I'd become more myself than I ever could have been under his control. 5 years after leaving home, I published my first major paper. Breakthrough research in my field. It made news in scientific journals. My name attached to something important. Something that mattered. My mother sent a text. Saw your paper in the news. Very proud. I almost didn't respond. But something made me type. Thank you. A pause. Then, your father saw it too. And he didn't say anything. But he kept the article. Put it in his office. I didn't know what to do with that information. Was it pride? Regret? An admission that maybe possibly he'd been wrong? I didn't ask. Didn't care enough to find out. My father had stolen 4 years from me. For years I could never get back. For years of experiences, friendships, growth, opportunities. But I'd built something anyway. Despite him. Without him. And that, more than any apology or acknowledgement, was my victory. I didn't need him to admit he was wrong. I didn't need him to apologize or make amends. I just needed to live my life. The life I'd chosen. The life he'd tried to prevent. The life I'd built from the ashes of his betrayal. If you've ever had someone try to control your future, steal your choices, or trap you in the name of love or family or tradition, remember this. They can take your opportunities. They can steal your time. They can forge documents and tell lies and manipulate your path. But they can't take your ability to rebuild. To start over. To choose again. Your life is yours. Not theirs to plan, not theirs to control, not theirs to steal. And it's never too late to take it back. If this story resonated with you, tell me where you're watching from. Share your experience if you're ready. And subscribe. Because the next story might be the one you need to hear.